And hello and welcome to the Kyoshi Herbie Bagwell TV show. I am your host, Kyoshi Herbie Bagwell. You are definitely been inboxing me and Instagram. I guess you guys call it IG, but I'm gonna call it Instagram. I'm an old school guy. The karate school is coming along. The flooring is being installed. Just like fine wine, it takes time, right? So good things will come to those who wait. I'm very impatient, but things are coming along very, very well. All is well in Bagwellville, okay? This show is going to be, of course, on intermediate going into advanced, and we're very excited about this show right here. As every show, I put a lot of thought into it because I want to make sure that the message is being explained and coming across very intently and precisely. So without further ado, let's get started. Take Kempo Kai. Hai. Take Kempo martial arts. I've been asked, had a couple of questions, getting a lot of positive feedback on YouTube, by the way. A lot of positive feedback whenever I, what do I call it, cut and paste and put the message up on YouTube and Instagram and all over the place. So one of the questions I want to ask, and I'm going to change the format of my show. I'm going to take a minute or two in the beginning of the show, and I'm going to answer all the questions I've memorized. And there's two questions most notably. I'll answer, two questions every 2 weeks, okay? So I'll ask two questions at the beginning of each show. And the first question is, and I got this question from up there in Maine, almost in Canada, which kind of freaks me out, but I love that my show's being seen pretty much up and down the East Coast. And the question that was posed to me was, how does my family or wife like all the hours? How do they handle all the hours that I put into my martial arts and my fitness, looking at the success that I'm having? Well, number one, I'm not married. And number two, my family, they're getting older, and I have a 6, I have a 14, I have an 18, I have a 20, and I have a 22, okay? And so I date and I spend time with all of my children. I love them all very dearly. So my motto is a family that trains together stays together, okay? Once again, a family that trains together stays together. So all of my kids at most times have come in and trained at my karate school, and we text and we talk, and I'm an old school guy. I rather talk instead of text, but I just want to let that person know up in Maine, thank you so much for that question. But A, I'm not married, and B, I definitely spend time with my children, and they're all a part of my businesses, okay? So that's number one. Number two, the second question that was posed to me was, how do I do it all? How do I keep myself together? Well, it's by the grace of God. That's all I can say, is by the grace of God. I draw my strength off of God to do what I have to do every single day. And I'm sure that God has mapped out my day, and He has given me enough grace to handle whatever comes my way. So God's grace is sufficient to get me through my day. Never mind yesterday, and tomorrow has its own sets of problems. But God has mapped out my current day, and I'm sure that God's grace is sufficient to get me through today. So without further ado, let's get into our intermediate Take Kempo. Take Kempo Kai. Height. I bow. Kempo fighting stance. This is going to be on green belt 7A and 7B. I'm going to back up stage, okay? So cross block, back fist, iron palm into a fighting stance. Once again, cross block, back fist, iron palm, always landing in a front stance or a fighting stance. Here's a true front stance, here's a fighting stance. You'll get the jargon sometimes can be somewhat confusing, but let me clarify everything. I'm standing in front of you, so I'm in a front stance, okay? But it's basically, this is called a fighting stance. This is a front stance. Okay, you just slide up that back leg, okay? That was 7A. 7B, I'm going to do it from the side, because you can see it better, okay? With this beautiful set here we have at SCTV, it's just so gorgeous here. I can do anything, okay? So once again, now here comes 7B. I cross block, step and strike. Come down, strike, elbow strike. Aya, that's a ki. My right hand and my left foot, they work together. They work together. So after an elbow strike, I go back, I foot sweep, aya, knife hand strike, hands down, right over left. Again, in a fighting stance, okay? Once again, okay? Cross block, and I'm leaning back. I want to basically divert that negative energy that's trying to hit me. I want to cross it. Step and strike. My left hand's above my obi, my belt. Chamber, strike again. Elbow strike, ki, aya. Jiu-jitsu, foot sweep, aya. Pop my hands up. Right over left. Fighting stance, okay? All right. Now we're going to go over green-white belt. Now, in the Taekwondo martial arts system at Bagwell Academy of Martial Arts, excuse me, not system, but an art, at Bagwell Academy of Martial Arts, our curriculum, it goes white, yellow, orange to beginner belts. Then the intermediate belts is green, green-white, blue, blue-white, purple, and purple-white, okay? Those are the belts for the intermediate. Again, green, green-white, blue, blue-white, purple, and purple-white. That's intermediate. Okay, that's what Bagwell Academy of Martial Arts has, okay? So we're working on the intermediate today. Now, the solid belts represent Taekwondo and Kempo. The multicolored belts, green-white, blue-white, and purple-white, individually rectify and signify and represent Kempo, because you're going to learn extra combinations. Combinations are basically self-defense. At Bagwell Academy of Martial Arts, we focus not only on self-defense, but discipline, okay, motivation, integrity, perseverance, okay, all those things about to handle yourself not only in public, but to handle yourself at home, in relationships, at work, everywhere. Always be on alert what's going on, okay? Make it basically a conscious effort to do the right thing, okay? So here we go. Kempo fighting stance. Now we're on green-white, which is combinations 8A and 8B. I'm going to do them in front of you, then from a side view, okay? So 8A is as follows. Buddhist palm, okay? So I'm blocking, grabbing, snap kick, step, cross, back fist, iron palm, okay? Once again. Buddhist palm, grab, snap kick, step, cross, back fist, iron palm. Okay? Here we go. Now, this is 8B. I come up, I block, grab, turn, break, strike, right over left, fighting stance, okay? From a side stance, or a side view rather, excuse me. Now we're training here. So while we're training here, I do come up here and I strike. Obviously, in a real life situation, you're not going to do basically all this elaborate stuff. We're not going to do all that, okay? But we are training. So the key is you come up here and you block, okay? Double knife hand block, grab, turn, break, strike, right over left, fighting stance, okay? Moving on now to blue belt. It goes green, green, white, and blue, okay? Now, after this combinations, I'm gonna go back to green belt and do Taekwondo techniques. The green belt Taekwondo is called Wanyo, okay? Hands are up, this is blue belt. Here we go, all right? Now, first thing is here. Here comes a straight punch or a hook. It doesn't matter. I step, feint block to my left. After I block that punch, I grab the wrist. I go from a side stance to a front stance, knife hand strike, extract, grab, turn, break, strike, strike. Always landing in a fighting stance, okay? Looking good. Here we go. Again. Hands are up. Feint block, grab, strike, extract, grab, turn. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now we're going to get into, that was 8A. Now we're going to get into 8B. Okay? Here we go. Hands are up. Straight punch or a hook. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Okay? Now, someone's trying to grab my shoulders. They're trying to grab my shoulders. Not a problem. Okay? Butterfly chamber block. My hands come down. I slightly bring them in. Double knife hand strike. Little faster here. So I'm here or here, self-defense mode. You're trying to grab my lapel, trying to grab my shoulders, trying to put your hands around my neck. It's not a problem, okay? So here, I just come up here, I block, grab them, their wrist, slightly bring them in, and strike, okay? Here we go. Now, from green, green, white, blue, and blue, white, once again, strong intermediate techniques, okay? Purple belt and purple white is at the very end of the intermediate going into the advanced. The advanced belts are brown, brown, black, red, and red, black. At Bagwell Academy of Martial Arts, that's the curriculum. That's our belt curriculum, our belt system, from white belt all the way to black. That part right there is the system. What you're learning is the art. There is no art called a system at Bagwell Academy. A system has a beginning and an end. We have an art. You have a beginning and there is no end. Okay, so it's like it's just infinite. Okay, so in other words, the human body is finite. Why is it finite? We have a beginning and an end. Infinite is a beginning and there's no end. And that's what martial arts is basically about. There's a beginning but no end. It all determines on what you're willing to apply to your life if you want to accept it. Okay, here we go. Now, green belt, Taekwondo is called Wanyo. I'm going to truncate or shrink everything down. I'm also going to narrate it so you at home can follow through. Okay, green belt Taekwondo. We bow. It's called Jun B. This form is called Wanyo. Left hand opens, Hana. I come here. I breathe out. I look to my left. 1, 2, 3, chamber. Again. 1, 2, 3, chamber, okay? I'm just gonna go slow on the kicks. Side kick, double knife 1, I come forward, double knife 2, I come forward, double knife 3. Now these are back stances. So from a side, this is a back stance, just like this, okay? So here's my double knife. That's a back stance here, or I just shift my right leg over, I lean back. Double knife this side. Always above my belt, always above my obi, okay? So now, here we are. We're in our third double knife feint block here, spear finger. Okay? My back will be to you only for a moment. Chamber, I turn. 1, and I'm going to repeat the process, okay? 2, lift, punch, chamber. 1, 2, lift, punch, chamber. Now I'm going to go towards you instead of going away from you. This part, as I come out, I step out in the front stance, middle block, okay? Just going to back up just a little bit, okay? Kick, punch, circular block, okay? Kick, punch, okay? Now this next move is a kick, and my back will be to you only for a moment. After I punch, I get into a fighting stance. And I want you to see how I completely turn my body. My left foot that is facing towards you, my left foot will be facing towards the curtain. You have to completely turn your body, turn your hips into a chamber and throw out the side kick. I'm going to do it medium speed. So I turn, side kick, and here, okay? Let me go back and do it again. Once again, As I punch, fighting stance. Why is my right hand in front? I'm getting ready to do a back leg right side kick. So I turn, side kick, and come here, okay? So now I'm gonna do this move facing the back of you so you can see how we're gonna end it, okay? I turn, side kick, to forearm block, chamber ki. Aya, paro. Right leg, right leg. And some places I've seen in tournaments how they come here and they ki there. That's fine, but the way that I was taught by my grandmasters is that you want to have such a strong chamber that you can nail it here, okay? Paro. Breathe out, right leg, right leg. Last question I'm going to answer, and it's about breathing. This was aside, this is like an off-camera question. As I was coming in to do the show, I stopped and got a coffee, and of course I had on my Bagwell Academy t-shirt, and the question was, hi, Mr. You take karate? I'm like, yes, I do take karate. I just smiled. And the question was, why is there so much breathing in karate? I said, well, breathing is important because if you don't breathe, you're going to pass out. You have to breathe. You have to focus on your breathing. Your breathing keeps you calm. You notice how when you're in a stressful situation, traffic, or you're late getting somewhere, or the biggest one I hear now, because I am Dr. Phil during the day, and the biggest one I hear now is, well, I told my so-and-so to be ready by such and such time, and they weren't ready, and you got to understand something. A lot of folks are not going to be prompt. They're just not. You tell somebody 2 o'clock, they get there 2:05. You could be married, and you told your wife or your husband 3 weeks ago that you had to do something 3 weeks later at a certain time, and they're going to be late. It happens. Here's how you do it. Be calm. You can't control anything really on the outside of you. Not even your children at a certain point. When they grow up, they're going to, they have developed a mind of their own, right? So here's the drill. So I tell people, breathe. It's going to be okay. So the breathing in martial arts and from a side view is easier. When I'm in a front stance or in an uke position, as soon as I get ready to strike, it's a release of all of your energy going to that point, okay, from a front view. When I punch, it's a release. Everything that I own in terms of my intensity, my focus, my concentration is going to hone in on that one particular area. It could be it could be a block, it could be a punch, it could be a low block, it could be a kick. Whatever it is, breathing is a part of the martial arts. Okay, here we go. Now, let's move on. Now we did green belt called Wanyo. Now we're going to do blue belt pattern in Taekwondo called You'll Go pattern. You'll Go pattern. Okay, here we go. And once again, I'm going to abbreviate some of the moves because I don't want to end up going into the closet or going to the producer's room, and I don't want to do all that. So we're going to stay on camera, okay? I bow, blue belt, You'll Go pattern, June B position, Hana. I come in, this is blue belt for Taekwondo. Breathe in, breathe out. Shuffle to my right, knife hand. Look to my right, chamber, middle block. Okay? Kick, left, right. Look to my left, middle block. Okay? Kick, right, left. Okay? One step. I breathe in. You see? Always breathing in. Punch. Half moon. Okay? Breathe in. Snap everything. Punch. Half moon. That's the most important thing. You really have to make sure that everything has a beginning and an end. Everything has a genesis. Everything has a beginning. You always have to complete each move. You've heard the phrase, don't cut any corners. Well, in martial arts, you can't cut any corners. You can't do a half block. You're going to get hit. You got to do the full block, the full block. You cannot cut corners. You're not going to get the fullness or the richness or the beauty of the block or the strike if you do something halfway. It's got to be all the way, okay? For how I am is how thy are. In other words, I am an all or nothing type of a person. Either I'm with you or I'm not. There's no in between. And I'm with you, people. I am. Okay, so now we are here. So now I have to do a back leg side kick, land, forearm strike, back kick, forearm strike, double knife in a back stance. Okay? Open hand chamber over my belt, over my obi, spear finger. Okay? Always tuck in your thumb. Okay? Open hand again above my belt. I turn, back stance. Okay? Let me just back up here. I'm in a back stance now. Open hand above my belt, left hand spear finger. Okay? Chamber, I don't want to go away from you, so I'm going to go towards you. So remember, left hand spear finger, chamber. Now, strike, punch, chamber, strike, punch. This is called a rolling back fist here. Let me go back. Okay? Once again, rolling back fist. I take my foot here that's implanted on my toes. I step out, turn to forearm block. Now I want you to see what that looks like here. Okay? So now I'm here. I take my right foot, step out on an angle, and just pivot to forearm block. Simple. Chamber, I don't go straight out. I go on an angle. Aya, paro. Left foot to right, right leg, right leg. Okay? Martial arts is a way of life. And what does martial and what does arts mean? A lot of people don't know that. So, good question. I'm glad you asked me. Kyoshi, what does martial arts mean? Good question, people. Martial is the discipline. Art is what you're studying. Hence, martial arts. Disciplined art. Okay? There has to be a level of discipline in a person first. For example, you ever hear about a wild animal being caged and they end up dying shortly thereafter? That's because their environment doesn't fit their nature. That's how it works, okay? Again, you take a wild animal, you put that animal into a cage, they're gonna die pretty soon. And I mean dying, not so much that they have a carcass, but dying inside, their spirit is gone. They have like no spirit in their eyes. And that happens to a lot of people. They're afraid to take that leap of faith. They're afraid to jump in the unknown. They want to keep that 9 to 5, 8 to 4, 7 to 3. They want to stay in the box. And that's who they are. And slowly they're dying inside. That's not Herbie Bagwell. I'm going to take that leap of faith. I'm going to jump out as far as I can. But at the end of the day, I know that my life will be so much fuller, not only for me, but for my generation to come. It's called generational wealth. You understand? So with that being said, you have to take that leap of faith, people. You got to believe in yourself when there's nothing and nobody around you who believes in you. You got to believe in you. Okay? Now, once again, that's what martial arts is all about. Martial means discipline. Arts means what are you studying? Aikido, judo, taekwondo, kempo, mixed martial arts. What are you studying? So again, martial is a discipline. Art is what you're studying. Okay? Let's break it down, okay? Lastly, belt tying. We're going to get into belt tying the first minute or so on our next segment of the Bagwell Academy of Martial Arts show with your host, of course, Kyoshi Herbie Bagwell. We're going to go over the belt tying. For example, the belt should always be, I'm going to do a Michael Jackson moonwalk here. You can see right here how it's nice and even. The belt should never cross in the back. Never. It's a disrespect to the belt. It is. And I'll get more into that in our next segment. Let's finish up. Now we're at the end now of our intermediates called purple belt, and this is called combinations 11A and 11B, okay? Purple belt is 11A and 11B, okay? Now blue-white belt is 10A and 10B. I want you to know how everything works, okay? Here we go, blue-white belt, 10A. High strike to my left, circular block into a fighting stance, okay? Toe kick, back kick, landing in a fighting stance, okay? Once again, high strike, circular block, fighting stance. Toe kick, back kick, fighting stance, okay? 10B, we're adding in what they call a leopard punch. You have vertical and horizontal. Horizontal is flat, vertical is how high can you jump. What's your vertical jump, my man? It's vertical, okay? But in karate, we call this a leopard punch. Leopard, okay? Vertical, horizontal, okay? Vertical. Here we go. Vertical punch. High strike, circular block, ki-ai, aya, okay? Vertical punch or leopard punch. Toe kick, back kick, land here, okay? Now we're going into what they call 11A. Again, this is purple belt, okay? This is one of my favorites. My favorite technique is whatever technique I'm doing, baby, okay? Hands are up, high strike, circular block into a tiger claw, into a fighting stance, okay? Outside, inside crescent, axe kick, jump over your opponent, right, left, kick, aya, cat stance, okay? Hands are up. Once again, high strike, circular block into a tiger claw. You're coming on the person's ear, tiger claw coming down. Pop those hands back up to protect yourself. Anywhere it comes, you can block it, okay? Outside, inside crescent, into an axe kick, jump over your opponent, right, left, aya, right over left. Simple. Simple stuff. 11B, I'll do from a side view, okay? Seems to be easier from a side view. Feint block or open hand cross block. I look, strike at the person's neck, pop my hands up, right over left. Simple. Once again, feint block. You can see I'm leaning, okay? From this view, I'm leaning out the way. I'm getting out of the way of that negative energy, okay? Here, I step, aya, right over left, okay? So we went over a lot of stuff in the intermediate, green, green, white, blue, blue, white, and purple. We're going to end up in our next show not only discussing, as I mentioned, how to tie a belt, but we're going to also finish up on the intermediate and blend right into the advanced, okay? The last thing I wanted to also tell you about self-defense. What is self-defense? Self-defense isn't necessarily on the physical, how to protect yourself. Self-defense is also negative people, negative situations, negative music, negative food, negative drink. You have to protect yourself. You have to be good to yourself. Whenever you see someone and you're getting ready to part ways or say goodnight for the night, never say, take care of yourself. Never say that. Always say, be good to yourself. Being good means self-defense against all negativity. My name is Kyoshi Herbie Bagwell for the Kyoshi Herbie Bagwell TV show. Thank you for watching, and good night.